Hello. This training is a special training for Robien and David and your team in Rwanda. My name is Dr. Grant Van Ulbrich, and I'm here in London, England. I am the creator of Scared So What, which is the world's first personal change management model and the app technology. And it is designed to help people learn how to manage personal change for themselves so that they can get out of stress, worry, fear, and anxiety and start to make better decisions for themselves. This training that I'm doing for you today is a special request just for you, Robien, for you and your team members. And I had a great discussion with David just a few moments ago. And we decided that since we're having internet connectivity issues, I'll go ahead and record this video and the training so that way you guys can have it and you can watch this video and learn a little bit more about Scared So What directly from me as the creator. And then as soon as you do, you share the video with your friends and your members there in Rwanda. And then Robian will email me your names. So as soon as I get your first and last name, I'll create certificates for you and send them back to you so you can all have it. And you'll be the very first people in Africa to be certified in our program. So I hope that will be enjoyable. And I want to spend a special thank you to you, Robian, for reaching out, for finding me on the internet and for searching out to help LGBTQ members within Rwanda. It's a very special thing that you all are doing. So I thank you. So today, what I'm going to do is typically this is part two. Normally, there's an online portion that we use to introduce you into Scared So What, but today is for part two. So I'm going to take you directly into the model a little bit deeper so you can understand. And here we go. So we'll go ahead and get started. So what we want to talk about is what does it mean to become a Scared So What certified personal change management instructor? Okay. Here, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about organizational change and personal change. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, there's all types of leadership and there's types of change that is out there to enable us to be able to manage change for ourselves. But for over the years, the last 100 years, most organizational change has been used to impose change on us. And so we're going to talk about the difference. I'll also introduce you just briefly a little bit into coaching, and then we'll talk about scared, what it means and how to use it. We'll talk about so what that means and how you can use it. I'll talk a little bit about the app, and then normally I would prepare you for an oral review where you tell me you're learning. But in this situation, I'm just going to create this video and share it with you, and then we'll work via email. Okay. So in today's session, we want to understand why. Why did we create Scared So What? Well, Scared So What is designed to empower you to reduce stress, to reduce anxiety due to change, and to be able to critically reflect on change. What we want you to do is to take a look at the change that's happening to you and then start to make an informed decision versus an assumption. Okay. When change happens, we get stressed, we get full of anxiety, and mentally, we're a little scared, right? And that's okay. It's perfectly normal. But if you can start to reflect on the change, then you can start to reduce that stress, reduce that anxiety, and that's where we can make better decisions. Okay? So it's really important in Scared to start reflecting on your feelings. And so what is about your plan and what you can do. All right? Within global change management, the thing that's missing is you. Ordinary change management has not been designed to help you figure out how you should feel about change. Rather, for 100 years, organizational change management has been about how do we make change work within organizations, cities, communities, towns, villages, government, military. So change management's been around for a long time, but it hasn't been available for you and how you manage change for yourself. So you're the missing link. And if you think about that, in all types of change, we need people to be able to manage change so that we can make it work for ourselves. So where's the model for you? That's what I created. And that's what Scared So What is all about. Scared So What is about you. Okay? So it's important for you to understand if we understand what organizational change is, it's about processing change throughout the organization. Well, what is personal change? Well, personal change is any type of change that happens to you, for you, with you, or about you. It's not about work or cities or towns or other people. It's about you. And it's about the change that's happening to you. It can be positive, it can be neutral, and it can be negative. And I'll give you an example. Positive changes, maybe you got a job, or maybe you got work to do, or maybe you passed a grade in school, or maybe something good, you moved to a new location, something positive that happens to you, a union, a best friend, or maybe even marriage, or something positive again, right? So that can still be scary. It can be fearful. You can have anxiety and stress. The same thing is neutral change. Neutral change is any type of change that happens around you. You're aware of it, it affects you, but it really doesn't concern you so much. But it's important for you to be aware because it's there and it could eventually affect you. Negative change is something that happens to you. Obviously, it's a change imposed on you and it's negative. You don't like it, or you're afraid of it, or you're scared of it. And that's normal as well. Your body and your mind react the same. So, for example, the first thing is mental. When a change happens, you get that fear, that anxiety, that concerns in your mind, right? If you let that go too long, it then becomes stress in your shoulders, stress in the back of your neck, headache and muscle tension, and anxiety, the rapid breath and expansion. So then it becomes really stressful and your body starts to feel it. What's important to know is that you can accept change, you can reject change, and you can be indifferent to it. It doesn't matter. So you're in charge of change. As it comes to you, you have a choice to make. You can either accept it, embrace it, or you can reject it and say, I don't like this. I'm going to do something else. Okay. What we're doing today is when change happens, is it comes within and we start to feel that stress and anxiety and we start to worry and we make an assumptive decision. And that's not good. That's not healthy. Okay. In essence, we take a guess. What I want you to do is start to critically reflect, start to look at that change and start to ask yourself, what does it mean to me? And what can I do for it? Okay. When you start to reflect, you can start to help yourself, but also as a coach or a leader or a mentor, you can help others through personal change. Okay. So personal change is uniquely different from organizational change. Organizational change has its own models, but Scared So What is the first model for you. And that's a good thing because now we have something we can work with. Okay. So, in summary, personal change is any experience that involves you. It is about you. It can be positive, it can be neutral, or it can be negative. You can also be stuck in indecision, which means I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But doing the scared model will help you pull out information so you can find a solution for yourself. And knowing the difference between organizational change and personal change gives you power to actually be able to manage that for yourself. And that's what we want you to do. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about coaching because as a mentor, as a leader, or as a supervisor, you can coach people through personal change. So, what is it? What is coaching? Coaching is about learning. We know that what's inside the head of the coach is the experience or the expertise. We think that what's inside the head of the coachee is the ability to embrace that. In essence, they should just do what we're telling them. But coaching is not about telling people what to do. It's actually the opposite. Coaching is about asking open-ended questions so that you can get inside the head and the mind of the coachee. And that's where they can have ideas. And that's what's most important. And that's what we want them to do. Okay. So, to give you a little introduction, there's a definition of coaching. And coaching is the art of facilitating another person's learning, their development, their well being, and their performance. So, you think like the groups that you're working in and the people that you're working in, you're trying to help them come up with ideas and trying to help them feel better and find new solutions for themselves. Coaching is a powerful way to do that. Okay. As a supervisor or as a coach, it is your responsibility as the coach to run the process. It's not linear. It has to be fluid. It's a conversation, and it's not about your agenda. It's about them. So what you're trying to do is ask open-ended questions and get them to think. Because at some point they might have an idea. And that's the beautiful part. When they have an idea, you want to pull that idea out of them. Because here's what happens. Coaching is the transfer of ownership. Make sense? If I ask you open questions and you come up with all of the ideas yourself, then you're going to go and do it. In essence, you'll own it. But if I tell you what to do, there's no ownership in that, right? It's assumption. Because I could go away, you told me what to do. I could go away and try and do it, but I don't always have to do exactly what you say. When I'm doing coach and I'm being coached and I come up with the idea because you coached me, then all of a sudden I know what to do because it's my idea and I will own it. Okay. That's where coaching is very powerful. So, what makes a great coaching question? And that's any question that starts with who, what, where, when, or how. We really like to shy away from using the word why because psychologically that puts blame and that means something's wrong. And we don't want to use that because it also stops the creativity. So ask open-ended questions. Who do you think could help you? What do you think you could do? Where could you go to get information? When do you think you could do that? How could you do that? Those types of questions are open and inviting, and they get people to think. And that's what we want to do. I hope that makes sense. Yeah? Okay, good. So now to the model, scared. Scared, so what? It's really two models in one. Scared is all about your feelings. How do I feel about this? And what decision can I make? So what is all about your plan? What's your plan to make the change work for yourself? Two different models, very powerful when you use them together. So for scared, what we do is we start with critical reflection. That's the key element to success. We want you to look at how you're feeling towards the change, okay? And start to become aware of what you can and what you cannot control, because not everything's within your control. Sometimes big changes are imposed on you, and that's sad, but sometimes big opportunities come as well too. And the only way you'll find that opportunity or what's right for you is if you actually break it down and start to reflect. Okay. So here's what it looks like. At the beginning of the model is you and your change. So it's about you, right? So you can start at the top. It's a circular model. We start at the top with surprise, and then you work your way around. And you can see there's a little red arrow there, and that's an indication for you to break out. We want you to finish the model once you've made an informed decision, not a guess. Don't assume, because that doesn't work for people. And in this circular model, you can bounce back and forth. That's okay. This is the reflective process. All right. You don't have to go one by one by one. You can think just like the way your mind works. Our minds are chaotic. We learn in different ways. So as a supervisor or a coach, it's really important for you to understand that. So how do you use it for yourself? So you ask yourself, am I surprised by this change? And think about it. Am I conflicted by this or do I champion the change? Champion means I like it. Conflicted means I don't know. I'm not really feeling very good. That's all right. That's a good place to be for right now. The next thing you do is you'll say, well, what actions can I take to bring in information? And an action is doing something. That could be research on the internet. Could be calling your friend. That could be asking Robien for guidance, or David, or asking friends or loved ones for advice. When you're doing that, you're bringing in information. That's important. That's powerful. Okay. Now that you've done that, I want you to reflect a little bit. Am I more receptive to this change, or do I reject it? Because you don't have to accept every change, but you do have to reflect on how you feel about it. Okay. Before you make a decision, is there anything else you could explore? Are there any other options you can consider? This is another action point. And this is asking for friends, advice, reading a book, reading something online. Taking action brings in information, and that puts you in charge. Okay. And then what decision can I make? Now, inside this little ball right there, there's three possible outcomes. You can make a favorable decision, which means I like it. Great. So what? What are you going to do? You can make an unfavorable decision, which means I don't like this. And that's really fine. But what will you do? What's your so what? You've got to have a plan, right? You could also be stuck in what's called indecision, and that's in the middle. And we've all been there before. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are in the world. We've all been in a place where I don't know what to do. Can't somebody just tell me? Somebody tell me what to do and I'll be fine. We've been there before. But usually what's happening is you've succumbed to fear, anxiety, and stress, and you're not thinking it through. If you follow the process, you can think and find out a better way forward for yourself. Okay. And the goal is to reflect and make an informed decision. Okay. That's how you can use this for yourself. If you're a supervisor or a coach, you can use the same wheel and you're asking those open questions to somebody and helping them to facilitate how they feel about change. So you could go to a friend and say, are you surprised by this? How do you feel about this? Are you conflicted or are you angry? Are you upset or do you like this? Are you okay with this? What actions could you do to get some information? What can you do? Could you read a book? Could you ask a friend? What are the things you could do and get them to start thinking about it? And then are you receptive or do you reject this change? Another way to ask this is, do you like this? Or do you think this is going to work for you? Okay. If you want them to think about it, what options or opportunities could you explore could to actually get you to look at the change? And so that's important for you to reflect. And then finally, what decision can you make? Okay. Is it a favorable decision or is it an unfavorable decision? Or are you stuck in indecision? Either way is fine. You don't have to have a prescribed outcome. You just have to be able to reflect. Okay. So that's how you could use that for yourself or as a coach or a supervisor or a friend to help coach somebody else. Good. Remember, the model is not linear. It doesn't go in a straight line. That's not the way our minds work. Sometimes we're in chaos, excitement, anxiety, fear, angry. It goes all across the spectrum. But the goal over time is to make an informed decision. We want you to reflect on the change so that you can ask yourself all these questions or ask somebody else these questions about how they feel. But over time, the goal is to reflect on it so that you're not ignoring your feelings. That's bad. Ignoring your feelings never does anybody any good. So, how do you process your feelings so you can make an informed decision? That's the goal of what we're trying to achieve. So, in summary, using the scared model allows people to break down personal change and reflect on their feelings. And when you use the actions and explore options, that's where you get the most ideation. That's where the most input can happen. And when change happens, what I want you to really just do is simply remember this and ask yourself, am I scared? So what? What can I do about it? Okay. And if you're a coach, you can ask somebody those questions as well too. Are you scared? So what? Let's talk about it. All right. Now that you've reflected on your feelings, it's time to make a plan. So we function on so what? Okay. And to do this, it's the same linear process or the same nonlinear process. It's a wheel, it's a model. So we want you to look at your plan. You've just made a decision about that. And I want you to start to thinking, well, what's my plan? So at the top is a word, big word called strategy, but a smaller word is called plan. What's your plan? What can you do about it? And then I want you to think, well, what options do I have? And then start to put that together. And then ask yourself, is there a way forward? Do I think this could work? And then I want you to go in deep reflection and say, do you have hope that this will work? Or do you know how? And this is the real spiritual part inside you. Because if you have hope that something will work, you're going to more likely put forward the energy. If you have no hope, it won't work. I promise you it won't, because you won't put forth the energy to make it work. So you got to go back and rework that plan. Get a coach, get a mentor, get a parent, get somebody, a loved one to help you or a friend, right? But if you can say, yes, I have hope, then what actions do I need to take to make sure my plan works? And finally, how do I take ownership? What does that look like? Okay. The most important element in taking ownership is to reward yourself. Okay. We don't always have people to pat us on the back and say, good job. So you can do that for yourself. And it's really important because if you've executed the change in the way that you want, or your change has gone positive for you, celebrate that. Say that I did it. I did it. It worked, right? Because the next big change, you're going to remember that. You'll remember, scared, so what? It works for you. Now there's something for you to help you process change whenever it comes to you throughout life. All right? This is something that you can learn and something that you can use forever as long as you're alive. All right? And that's powerful. But just like a coach, you can coach people through making their plans. And as you, Robien and team, David, you're all supervisors and leaders and mentors. You're trying to help people. So you can coach them. What's your strategy or what's your plan? What do you think you could do? Right? What could you consider? We can use coaching and say, what else? Right? And you can put this in your own language. As long as you understand the model, then you can really associate this and communicate this to anybody. So you ask them those open questions. Do you have a way forward? Do you have hope, or do you know how this is going to work? What actions do you need to take? And how do you make sure your plan works? That's taking ownership. Okay. And maybe if they're not rewarding themselves because they did it, could you reward them and say, great job. I'm really proud of you. You did it. Congratulations. That helps them commit to memory that their plan worked for them. And that's powerful. That's what we want to happen. Okay. So if I look at what a good so what does, it allows people to have the best possible control over managing personal change. And since assumption rarely ever works, using critical reflection to create a plan that works for you is exactly what we need you to do. And here, using scared so what together gives you the best possibility to make sure your change works because you're reflecting on your feelings and you're actually making your own plan. And that's important. Wherever you are, if you have good, strong Wi Fi and you're able, there's a free app. It's called Scared So What, and it's the orange app. And there's a QR code right there on the screen that you could scan it. But if you can't scan that and can't find it, it's just look for Scared So What. You can see the name here, Scared So What. You can find that in the Apple Store or the Android Store, and it's free. Okay. So whenever you get a good, strong signal, go ahead and download that, and you can ask yourself questions and take the quiz. It's a great coaching element and a good coaching app, and it'll help you to see how you feel about change. And inside digitally, you can actually make your own so what plan. Okay. And here's what it shows you. So inside it, red means negative. It means I'm not feeling good about it. Green means favorable. And that's great. That means I'm feeling really good about it. Gray is that indecision. It means I'm uncertain. I'm not so sure. And usually, if you do some actions, ask a friend for advice or do some research or find something online, and then you take the quiz again, you can have a different outcome. Okay. At the end of each one of these colored variables right here, SCARED, there's a little white arrow. If you click it, it'll take you to another screen that tells you what your results mean. And there's a little video, and a lady will tell you exactly what your scores mean. So the app really helps you to view change, manage change, and make your own plan. And that's free for you if you want to try to use it. Okay. So now's the point where you're like, wow, that's a lot of questions. It's a lot of information. So you can use this video over and over. And then Robien also has a printed direction of Scared So What, also in English and in Rwandese. So it's in your language as well, too. but I hope this gives you a little bit of an overview of what Scared So What can do for you. So share this video with your friends and your colleagues, have discussions as great leaders and supervisors, and then once everybody's watched it, to Robien, send me an email of everybody's name. I will then print a certificate for each one of you and send it to you so you can give to everyone. I want to thank you so much for sharing your interest in Scared So What and for championing LGBTQ members within Rwanda. That is near and dear to my heart. As a gay member, as a leader of change throughout the world, my job is to help people empower themselves so that they can rise up and make the best. And you know what? What you experience in Rwanda is your experience. And I know that it's very unique and different for everybody elsewhere. But we've all had our own experiences. And just because we're in different cities and different countries, that doesn't mean it was always peaceful and beautiful. Mine wasn't. I grew up in a very rural place in the middle of America, a very Midwestern place, and it was not safe for me to be out as gay. I had a loving family and friends, but I still had to hide, and I still had to be very quiet about who I was. But through accepting those challenges, finding my way through change, I was able to rise and to grow up and to go to different things in life. And now I'm living here in London. And now I'm actually speaking to you because of Robien. He was able to research and find me on the internet. So I hope that this is beneficial for you. And I wish you all the very best. You are all very special. You are amazing. And you have a purpose in life. And that is to go forward and help people. And I hope you do that. Thank you so much and take care. I wish you all my best.